Museums are typically known for beautiful art, unique architecture, and fine dining. Magalie Laguerre-Wilkinson gives us a tour of a few of these New York restaurants that are revolutionizing the concept of museum food.
Long considered to be an afterthought or a place to grab a quick bite, museum restaurants are now destinations to seek out. Our first stop took us to the Modern at MoMA in Midtown Manhattan, where we met with the restaurant's general manager, Dino Lavorini.
We were fortunate enough to open with the museum when it reopened in 2004. So we're in our 9th year, which is pretty phenomenal. It's gone like a blink of an eye. In addition to a Michelin star, we've also been recognized by the James Beard Foundation 4 times and the New York Times with 2 3-star reviews, which we're thrilled with.
Much of the Modern's success is due to the creativity and presentation of its world-class cuisine. Getting the chance to try one of their signature desserts, the Modern Black Forest Fantasy, was a fantasy indeed.
There's a festival going on in my mouth right now. My palate is very happy.
But it's not just the food, it's also the gorgeous design.
Our chef is inspired by that which he sees in the garden, that which he sees in the galleries, and it's constantly changing. You know, we do look at the restaurant even as a curated exhibition. What you will see is that the first impression of any meal is really the beauty that comes in color and shapes on really what is a blank canvas. And then when you begin to taste the different components of the dishes, you'll reach the essence of what the chef is offering in terms of the experience, the exhibit.
Traveling over the East River to Queens, we dropped by the more casual Wells Dinette, inside the sister museum of MoMA, PS1. Owner and executive chef Hugues Dufour opened his restaurant a year and a half ago to glowing reviews. Dufour capitalized on that success and recently opened a new restaurant, Wells Steakhouse, leaving longtime sous chef Aidan O'Neill in charge of the kitchen at Wells Dinette.
The idea of doing an art museum restaurant was really appealing for me.
Aidan's a painter as well, and he does.
So it's an art form.
So that was like.
I dropped out of art school to cook.
Really?
So it was funny that I ended up back in an art museum.
It's kismet. Yeah.
So we did it for him.
Yeah, it was really for me.
Even though it did seem like an obvious pairing, Wells did struggle to find an identity early on.
In the beginning, like it was quite impractical because people would come in for coffee and we'd be trying to do takeout, and we'd also be trying to operate the restaurant as a restaurant. But you know, we're getting better.
Chef O'Neill said having curators of the museum's exhibits dine in his restaurant also has its benefits.
What is contagious is the energy of the people that install the shows and the curators and talking to them and experiencing like the delight through them. It's definitely, when they come in and eat, we get to like hear about like all the stuff that like what a mind-altering experience is to try and get like art from Amsterdam to here in a jumbo jet overnight and installing it and then like, talking to the installers. That's just super stimulating.
Walking into the restaurant feels like a trip back in time. The space where the museum is now used to be a public school. With desks serving us tables and the food menu scribbled on a chalkboard for everyone to read, the restaurant space feels like an attempt at tricking the museum goer into thinking they've entered another exhibit within the museum.
I think like we end up being in tune with the museum and the way. I think the space, the people around influence a lot, like the way we cook and stuff, and that's the way it should be.
From Queens, we made our way to Brooklyn, where, after spending 14 years in Boerum Hill, executive chef Saul Bolton decided to move his Michelin-starred restaurant into a much larger space, the Brooklyn Museum.
I think they approached us because they knew we're really part of Brooklyn, that we would fit in well to this situation. You know, we're not particularly trendy, but we produce beautiful things, beautiful food that really would fit the model of what they were trying to do.
Tell us a little bit, because we are in a museum. There is this new trend, it seems, of restaurants in museums. What is that all about?
I think museums are realizing that in a competitive world of today, you can have world-class art, you've got to have world-class cuisine. America's taste is evolving, And it's evolved a lot where people are not just going to come in and accept the same old song and dance when they come into a museum. They want something, if you see a beautiful exhibit, what a downer it is to actually come in and have airline food.
Talk about the concept of food also as an art form.
Unlike a lot of the art that you have in the galleries that's timeless, and it's preserved to be so, and it's captured, and it's there, and it's semi-permanent state, and inspires people as they walk by it every single day, and it evokes different kinds of feelings and thoughts. And the food, as I said before, we approach it very much from a craft point of view, and we're craftspeople, but there are periods, points in time, where the food is able to transcend that, and all that craft that goes into it, the execution of it, makes it possible.
I'm Magalie Laguerre-Wilkinson for Arts in the City.